Hey everyone, so these are the products I'm going to use in this video today, and today's video is a different one because it is a challenge we are doing for the CJP weekly challenge. You can come and join the group and get involved. Every week there is a new challenge where the admin do a design and everybody can recreate it, and then a winner is chosen a couple of weeks after that. So I'm going straight in and I'm using baby blue, and I'm taking it from halfway down the nail and kind of walking it down to the very tip and blending the bead backwards. It was really hot today and moggy, and the acrylic wasn't my friend, so it's not my best, but I am trying really hard to make a lovely set of nails to show you all. Now I'm taking Cherry Blossom and I place my first bead just before that blend so I can really nicely blend that and make a really nice ombre so it's not so harsh, there's no harsh lines. And then when that is dry, I will then go in and take my crystal glass, and I'm just literally going to cap the blend because there's no need to take that clear all the way back to your cuticle area, because the colour we've used is a core and that is your strength and does not need encapsulating, but your blend will because you'll just file it away. Okay, moving on to the next nail pop, and I'm just going in with Miss Lucy's Pearl Multi-Cut, and I think this one is Pure Cloud. You can use any glitter that you want. There is no specifics. You can also use any colour that you want, but I'm just picking up a really tiny wet bead of crystal glass, placing it into the glitter and picking up that way, nudging the glitter around where I want it with the tip, and then making sure that I flatten all that glitter down with the body of my brush so it's nice and flat. I'm then going to go in with some angel paper that I have previously cut just into little shards, and I've left the very tip clear because I want the angel paper to kind of transition down and just change colour really nicely at the bottom, so it's almost like a glitter angel paper ombre. And you just want to really fill up the gaps with these tiny little shards, just cut to how you need. If you find that the wet acrylic has gone hard, you can just apply a really tiny wet little bit of acrylic like I'm doing here, just to make that part of the angel paper stick down. And then I'm going to take crystal glass and I'm just going to encapsulate this whole nail, making sure that all the angel paper and the glitter has gone matte, and that way you know that the whole nail is covered in crystal glass. If it's still shiny, you need to go and add more product because that is telling you there that it's not capped, and when you come to file you will literally just file away your glitter, and that's just gonna not look very nice at all, especially when you've worked really hard to make a nice design on the nail. Always patting it and patting it as well to make sure that the application is as even as possible and your filing is left minimal. So on this nail pop we are going straight in and I'm doing a full nail in baby blue. I'm just making sure that I'm creating, if you were doing this on a client, making sure that you're creating your apex with this colour because it is a strength. You don't necessarily need to use clear underneath it. Because it's quite a light cover as well, I probably wouldn't use clear underneath it because it would be really easy to file back down and cover. So I'm just making sure that all the application is nice and even. Make sure you have your apex in place and all of that because we are going to go in with some 3D work on this nail. So I have done lots of videos before of doing roses, but I'm just going to show you all again because this is going to be in the CJP group so that people can follow along and hopefully they can find it a little bit easier when they have kind of a visual guide of what to do. So I'm using my CJP size 4 brush and I'm using Snow White, and you can see how I'm manipulating these beads. And again, I will say that it was really hot and it actually was really difficult to try and get these petals how I wanted them. But you can see in a few areas the way I just used my brush to manipulate that product to exactly the place that I want it. So as I'm placing this bead, I'm trying to show you that when you place it and then if you press into it, it bounces back. Like you can see me poking it bounces back. When it stops bouncing back at you, that means that the acrylic is perfect to then start moulding. If you try and do this while it's wet, it will just end up a sloppy mess and you'll have no definition to your petals. So you want to make sure that that acrylic is going nice and matte and it's not jumping back up at you. It actually makes it a whole lot easier, but I think as a newbie or as someone who's not confident with doing 3D work, you tend to go in and try and get it done while it's wet because you fear that it's gonna you know, set and you're not going to be able to move it. But actually just relax, let it go matte, and then work your bead and manipulate it to how you want it. So I'm just going to let you carry on watching these 3 roses that I'm putting on the nails, so you can really get a nice gist of how I'm doing it. Yours don't have to be the same. You can do a different rose, you could do a more stencil rose if you want to, that's absolutely fine. These are just the roses that I went for today. So when I'm happy with all the roses, I'm just going to go in and take some acrylic and just kind of fill up the spaces, because we're not going to apply any top coat, we're not going to apply any glitter. This nail is just going to stay matte. So what I'm going to do is just fill up them little gaps with some petals with Snow White, just so it looks nice and full and not like missing bits or like it needs something extra. So because I decided to do the 3D work on the other nail part, I decided to keep the rest of the design quite simple so that people who are not so confident could follow it along, and then they could just really focus on doing the 3D work and push themselves out of their comfort zone, because that's what it's all about when you're doing nails or any job. When you think about it, it's about pushing yourself out of that comfort zone, going above and beyond. and just having fun with it. Otherwise there's no point, you know. You have to relax and have enjoyment in what you're doing. I think the more you enjoy it, the better you get, because you take more chances and more risks. And you know, sometimes designs don't work out, and that's just one of them, but you just keep trying. So I'm taking the glitter and I'm literally just placing it at the free edge, because a lot of people ask, how do you get it without it being so bulky? So I'm just showing you that you really take tiny small amounts and make sure you're super flattening that glitter in with the body of your brush, making sure it's super flat, so that when you cap it, it's not so bulky, because then you're going to overcompensate, overfoil, and then it's just going to come straight off. So really always make sure you're flattening that product down. And then the next finger, I'm just going in with baby blue again at the free edge. I'm just going to walk that acrylic down the nail right to the very end, and then I'm going to go back in with cherry blossom and do another ombre, except this time we're going to add some glitter in like a kind of S shape, just to make it really pretty, but not too difficult, you know, simple, pretty, effective. So because we're going to be adding the glitter and then capping it, just make sure you apply it a little bit thinner than you usually would, and don't put your apex in with your cover pink, and because again you would just file off your glitter. So just feather that round in a little kind of swirl across the nail, and then go in with your crystal glass and cap the nail. And obviously now, if you were doing this on a client, that's when you would place your apex and make sure the nail is strong and there is good structure there for a long lasting extension. After that, I just kind of lightly went over them with a file and buffed them over. I'm now going in with CJP Tack Free Top Gloss, and I will cure these for 60 seconds. Sorry I haven't been active much on YouTube lately. It's just because I've had a week off, which has been kind of a good choice because it's been so hot. And acrylic work is so difficult when it's hot. But yes, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you all come along and take part in the challenge. I love you all, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye!